Welcome, everyone, to our Resilient, Wild, Unstoppable interview series. And it has been a while. And today we have Elizabeth, and I'm so anxious or excited, rather, for you to meet Elizabeth because she is this wealth of knowledge and information. And I know that you are going to love everything that she shares. So I'm curious, Elizabeth, what is it that actually got you started or transitioning into what you are most focused on now because you are in this field of really serving and helping others move forward in their own challenges and transitions.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your resilient and wild and unstoppable. I'm like to be thought of in that way is so very amazing to me. Like that is what I'm striving for is to show that we all come through life and that this resiliency that we can, it doesn't matter what's kind of happening or happened, what has happened to us. It's how we take it and mold it into what we need to take us higher and higher. And that's kind
Yeah.
of why I do this. What brought me to this is, I'm in my 50s now. So I'm a Gen Xer. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and what at that time it was called a dysfunctional household. So I have parents who didn't get divorced, but always kind to each other. And I had a younger brother. So the dad would come home and he'd have a beer, and the mom was anxious and sometimes depressed. And, there were, as my brother and I got older and things got a little bit harder in the house, developing kids, things were stressed, things got strained. My mom is an immigrant to this country, so all of her family lived back in her home country, and she felt, I think, at times a lot of isolation.
Mm,
It wasn't the time of video chats. Like it was the time of we still had these blue airmail envelopes that my grandmother would send, and that was the correspondence. Phone calls were expensive.
right.
Trips were astronomical. My dad worked three jobs so that we could spend summers back in with my
Wow.
mom's family. So there was a lot to be thankful for. I love my parents. They were in many ways wonderful parents, but they had struggles of their own. And so that means that I didn't quite get everything that I needed. I grew up and wondered, why is this? Why is this the way it is? So I was always drawn to psychology. I was always drawn to understanding people and the dynamics and how can we help? How can we make things better? Make
Hmm.
people feel safer, make people feel less sad or alone or angry. And so I went to college. I got a degree in women's studies and psychology, and then counseling and working with people with disabilities and people who had, like crisis moments. I worked with people with domestic violence. I worked with foster care, parents who were trying to be better parents, but were not always successful. Like my career for 28 years was focused on taking what I've learned, building up my skills, and applying it to all these people.
Right.
Thinking I'd done my work, I was fine, and then I turned 50, and all of a sudden, everything that I had learned and was applying just didn't always fit, and I just felt like where I was at, like working for agencies and like working for other people, just it felt constraining. It felt unsatisfying. Like I didn't feel settled there anymore. And I was like, what's going on? Is it me? Is it this place? What's the problem here? And I realized that my path, like what I had known for almost, over 25 years was no longer the path for me. And I started on this journey of really reevaluating who I was, what did I need, and what was going to work for me. And so then I
Mhm.
started my own business, and it has been an exciting journey this last year of discovering what it means to be an entrepreneur, what it means to apply my skills in a new setting with new people. And so I think like that idea of unstoppable really just is like this, that just resonates with me. Like this
Oh
idea
yeah.
of we can be unstoppable. We just have to give ourselves the skills and the resources and the people surrounding us, like you, Kat,
Hmm.
like finding the people that are gonna make us feel and recognize that we are unstoppable. So
Right.
yeah, that's my mission
Absolutely.
right now.
Yes. And I know that you still have your psychotherapy path where
Mm-hmm.
you serve women, and you also have this group and this ability to serve in community. To know more about that.
Yeah, so I thought I'm just going to transition from working for somebody else to working for myself. And it's just going to be this traditional, path of private practice, and that's all that I, need to do. That just a little bit of a shift, right? A little bit of a deviation. And then once I got into this space and realized what was out here, what were people asking for, recognizing oh, I need to broaden my horizon, right? Like psychotherapy, that deep work has a wonderful place, but it also is kind of limiting. And I have a desire to serve in deeper and more broad ways of having some groups, building, educating folks in that group setting of, hey, you know, if you're feeling stuck, if you're not feeling like where you're at is fitting, like maybe you're really, really successful in your career and in all these talents or interest areas, but then you feel stuck in other ways, like maybe your relationships aren't as satisfying, or you and your children you don't have the relationship that you would like with your children, or, something is just holding you back, like there's some sort of block or barrier. I'm like, I think I could create something, a group kind of model that builds that connectivity, right? Women
Mhm.
helping other women. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what we've done for millennia is women
Right.
getting together, supporting each other, learning from each other, and that's how that's how we've done it. And it's only recently that we've, changed all that up. But our
Yeah.
bodies know, our psyches know.
Yes.
Women helping other women, it resonates. It resonates with a lot of women. And that's the direction I'm going in.
Awesome. Because you're right. As women, that's a strength I think we're born with. And being able to have that space where we are given permission to help others sounds powerful.
Mm-hmm.
How, because I know you and I talked about the fact that May is approaching and May is Mental Health Month. What are even some super tips that you can offer to those that may even be thinking, hey, maybe now's a good time to reach out to somebody or really find out more about this community that you're building and, you know, what is it that I need and how do people,
Mm-hmm.
reach, even reach that conclusion of reaching out to somebody would be good for them.
Yeah, I think I love the way that you phrased that, like the way that the pathway forward, right? What I want people to come away with is just because you're here now and you feel stuck, you aren't stuck. And there's a lot of different ways that you can get unstuck.
Mhm.
It's accessing the right resource, building the right skill, talking to the right person, talking if you don't get the right answer the first time, not giving up because you are so very important. Each and every one of us is so important and is enough and is loved and is valuable. And you deserve to live a full and rich life that you find joy in. And so whether you know that you do well when you talk to others, it's okay, well, think about the top three people that you know that come immediately to mind in your trust circle and just open up that conversation with them. I'm feeling a little stuck. I'm feeling like I may need some help with this and describe it to them. Have you ever experienced this or what do you think about this, right? If that doesn't work for you, I think our libraries, we're recording this April 21st, and I think this is National Library Week.
Oh,
And our library system is a powerful resource. I know we've got the internet, I know we've got Google, but when you go to the library and you talk and you just walk up to that librarian reference desk and you say, I'm looking for some information on this, the women there and men, but a lot of them are women. They will, okay, here you go, and they know their stuff. They will find you a book, a resource, and it's about just building that awareness of understanding. So much of what we're taught or what we're not taught, right? And so learning where are my little gaps, or where are my little, like, I need a tool or something to do with this. Once you get all of those, you just keep going and growing and building, right? It's all about growing, it's all about improving, right? Every one of us, every day can do a little bit of something to shift. And, it's mental health is so much more. It's not what you think it is, right? It's about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of of you, but also being grateful and focusing on positive and what are you grateful for? What delights you? And making sure that you're cultivating that in your life, living with intention. I think,
mhm.
Kat, you talked at I think there was a summit or something that I heard you speak at that was about living with intention. And that really struck with me. When we approach things with that intentionality, yeah, it's amazing what unfolds and how we just start to feel better. And so May is Mental Health Month, but it's bigger, it's bolder than just thinking about mental space.
And not committing just to May. It's
Absolutely.
it's like mental health is so valuable and so important. It's really maybe becoming more aware of it in May and committing to it every day of every year in our lives.
Hmm.
And I love some of these tips that you shared because it brings it back to really helping us commit to that self-trust and trusting ourselves and being able to look for the information that we are looking for in this world of comparison and always reaching out to others because we don't trust ourselves
Hmm.
in certain moments and giving ourselves permission for that trust.
We've got into these habits or these patterns of behavior that say, I can't be vulnerable. I can't show my true self. Like we put these masks on and we put these armors on and,
Mhm.
we go and we think that's going to help us get through life. But in reality, it diminishes the experience that we're all here to have, which is to be connected and to experience joy.
Mhm.
And so that means you have to be a little vulnerable and
Yeah,
be self-aware and you have to try some things that maybe make you feel a little uncomfortable. And if you keep doing those, eventually you'll recognize that that discomfort is just a passing feeling. And it's behind you and you're well on your way to getting to where you want to be in your life.
that is powerful and so awesome. And this has been a fabulous interview. And I'm like, ooh, I want to continue and I want to keep going. I want to, it's like, and we don't really want a 2 hour interview. Which
No,
means we might have another one in a little bit. Who knows?
I would love to come back later on, and if you invited me back, I know you're a woman on a mission for how you want this to go, but I would be happy to speak more on any topic. But hopefully this gives people a little bit of understanding of why I'm so passionate about this. And, it means something because it means something to my own life and to my own experience.
Yeah.
And by sharing it, just like you do, just like the work that you do, Kat, I
Yeah.
mean, it's we grow by being a community with others, and it's powerful when we build that energy together.
Absolutely. And our world needs us to all be a light and shine our energy to raise that energy level of the world, one
Hmm.
human at a time.
Yeah.
So these interviews are a part of that is helping others shine so we can all come together and just start increasing that energy and sharing our message. So thank you so much for today in this interview. I appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Bye.